Welcome everybody to the Energy and Sustainability Working Party this evening. Have we got any apologies for absence? Do we have any apologies? Do you know? Big apology.
Hang on a sec.
All right. Think,
So we're
think,
live streaming.
yeah, thank you. So,
Welcome everybody to this meeting. Oh, something's happening. Sorry.
oh, okay. Sorry, is that playing it back?
Yeah, that happens, Vicky. You have to then very quickly close down the that when that thing comes up. It's Liz from a meeting about 3 or 4 years ago. It always does it. I don't know why.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I think I'll stop that now.
Right, that's fine. Okay, so welcome again. Have we got any apologies for absence? No?
I've not had any. I think everyone's here, I think.
Yes, saying that. Quinn was he going to be here normally or
Quinn's at a mayoral event, I believe.
okay, that's fine. Thank you. All right then, so next declarations of pecuniary interest and requests for dispensation. Are there any? Anybody? No, that's fine, thank you. For minutes of the previous meeting, do we know going to bring a copy up? I don't know if there's any matters arising for those. Let's have a look.
Colin, sorry, how do I share the minutes?
It's down at the bottom. There's a share bit, and you should be able to choose the window with your minutes in it. It might have the agenda on it because it's if they're sharing the same window for Adobe.
Okay.
Just to say to everybody, I'm running off of a mobile phone, dangling out my first floor window at home because I've got no broadband, so it's a bit intermittent.
Okay, so okay. I know the problems. Okay, so this is the agenda.
Yeah, sorry, we'll get in the minute.
Yeah, the other one's minutes.
You can just click on that.
Yeah. So yeah, should we have a look down see if there's any action points before we agree the minutes? Or
can everyone see them?
Yeah, well, I can see them. So if we just move down, the co-vend that's on the agenda, so that's fine. And let's have a look further. If anyone's got anything to say on these minutes as we go through, please do so. Are we
Chair, the open space isn't an agenda item. I thought we could cover that in matters arising.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine. The recycling is on the agenda, yeah. Policy review. What was that? To be removed from next agenda to complete in the spring. Oh, that's fine. Okay. Public forum. No, I don't think there's any other action points. Energy efficiency, we're going to be doing that. Okay, that's fine. So is there anyone proposing that, please? Councillor Stitchcombe and second, Councillor Laura Miller-Jones. Okay, and all those in favour? Okay, thank you. Right, so we'll go on to the actions from the previous meeting then that were on the agenda. The eco-vent, so I'll talk about that first. I've had several conversations since we last met with Councillor Ian Jarvis at District about the eco-vent. Not really got much further in the sense of whether it's something we can do. I think there's the cost implication, but also the one that's at the leisure centre has actually been out of action for about 6 weeks now. Dave and myself went down there to have a look, and uh, nothing's happened. And we've contacted Mark Walsh and Jan, and they've put us in touch with the actual guy at Trover, which is the one that runs the app. So hopefully we'll get this resolved. But we thought there's no point really looking at, us having one ourselves until we know this one's going to be used, or if it's going to be reliable, or or whatever. And also the legislation, it seems, is changing next year, where a lot of it will be for the responsibility of retailers, and that's taking them back and giving money back, like deposit return. So how that will impact if we were to have a machine, I don't know. I couldn't really work out how it's going to be working. They are talking about these eco-vend machines, where you can have an app and get points on it. But really, if you take your bottle or your can or whatever back to the retailer, you get your deposit returned. So there's going to be like the old system we had many years ago. Those of us that are older remember, you get a deposit back in your bottle or whatever it was. So this is actually coming in October 2027, as far as I can see from the legislation the government's introducing. So that will have an impact, I think, on where we go with eco-vend. So I'm just trying to find out a little bit more information about that at the moment, and trying to find out why the eco-vend at the leisure centre has been out of action for so long. So that's that. I know Chuck's Notes and Space is just next, but I'll just perhaps, if I can just go on to my recycling bit, and I can talk about that at the same time, and then we'll go back to that. So the recycling, obviously, the new bins that are coming out to everybody, they take so much more now than we did before. Because when I was going to do this survey and everything, and go around the shops and asking, I was a bit remiss in doing that, I must admit. But then I saw that a lot of the stuff that we were looking at to recycle are now actually being taken into the bins anyway. So a lot of the things like the toothpaste and the toothbrushes and things like that are going to be able to be put into the bins that we're going to have. The only thing that isn't going to be put into the bins is the blister packs. Now, I've done a little bit of research on those, and Boots are taking them. So they have got a box there in the store, and they do take them. And if you go on the Boots online, you can, if you've got an Advantage card, you can sign up to that, and you'll be able to get points, I think, for bringing back blister packs. I haven't tried it myself yet, but I'm going to have a look. Katsamia Jones, you want to say anything?
Yeah, thank you. Just on that, do you know, would they let us take in a massive load if we collected them from people? Because Savers used to do that, and then they stopped because Keep Haverhill Recycling we were collecting, like, bin bags full of them and taking them to Savers, and then they said this is for individuals. It's not, like, they didn't want to take huge amounts. So do we know if Boots, because if Boots will allow us to take in loads, then we could start collecting blister packs from, I'm happy to do that. And because there's just so many. I mean, myself alone, I go through so many because I'm on 9 medications. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not alone in that. There's a huge, most of our population are on at least one medication. And do you know what I mean? Like, so I just think that is a massive thing.
Yeah, I think the bin in Boots will not be sufficient to cope with that, to be honest. Looking at it, I've seen that Tesco's around the country do it, but I don't think Tesco's in Haverhill do. So what I could do is contact them and see if they'd be willing to sign up as well, because the more places we have taking these, much better it is, isn't it? Because Superdrugs do in other stores. I don't think they do in our store because they haven't got a prescription service like some Superdrugs do. So yeah, it's in different places. They have them. I think Bury does. But, yeah, so I know what you mean. It's like the other topic I was going to go on to about the sharp spins, which you probably heard about. And Mark, we've got in touch with Mark. I've spoken to Colin, but do you know about wellbeing centre, Laura, and possibility of using that? But again, if it's only one place in town taking them, other than if you're a patient of Haverhill Family Practice where you can take them there, you know, that's a lot to take from everybody. If you think it's taken just not just from Haverhill, it's taken from around the villages as well. And the only other two places the in West Suffolk are in Bury and Newmarket. So I think we do need a longer term solution to that and um, get several places that will sign up to these schemes. So yes, sorry, Laura again.
Thank you. Yeah, so it is going ahead, the sharp spin at the centre. I think Colin can say more. I think it's being delivered and it's massive apparently. So like, but I do agree with you because that's not even very far from Haverhill Family Practice. So it's like it's not the best location wise that the two options are so close to each other and then the rest of the town has nothing. So I don't know if we can investigate potential other sites.
Yeah, I think so. I think with the conversations I'm having with Mark Walsh and Dave as well, Dave has had some conversations with them to try and find a longer term solution to that as well. Obviously, if you're a patient of Haverhill Family Practice, then I would, suggest going to them rather than using the other place because the other place will be for everyone else, so to speak. But I mean, whether we can offer some sort of service, just volunteers like myself, like yourself, you were just talking about, to pick things up from people and take them to there. Because I'm sure there's vulnerable people that, that aren't able to get to these places to drop off their sharp spins or drop off their blister packs and things like that. So that's something I'd like to explore a little bit more actually, if we can do that. Because we used to do it on the market stores, didn't we? Well, not us, well, me. You did with Nick. But I don't think we can go back to that as such. But to offer some sort of volunteer service would be fantastic, or to work with the volunteers in town to see if we could get something going on that. So I'd like to do that. So I'll see if I can make some progress with that after we know what's going on with Mark, and then I'll explore the blister packs a bit more as well. I think the other thing I think Nikon, I think they were called, the laptop repair shop that was in the high street. I mean, they were always taking like if you want to get rid of bits of your computers or your computers and your laptops and whatever. And they would recycle them, and they promised me that they would wipe the hard drive, properly and all that. Now, but they've moved now, and I was going to pop in and see them and speak to them again, see if they still do that or how much they could recycle. But they've moved now, and I need to find out where they've moved to. I think it's in one of the industrial estates, on the industrial estate somewhere. So that would be useful if I also got in contact with them. So I'll try and do that before our next meeting and find out. Has anyone got any other thoughts about what we can explore a bit more about what needs to be recycled, if it's something that the bins don't take that we know about? Or if you can just let me know and I'll try and explore it a bit further. Laura.
Thank you. I should absolutely know this, and I don't like admitting that I don't because I should. But are the new ones, are we going to be able to do crisp packets? Because I know that's also a big thing. We were taking sort of 3-4 bin bags full of crisp packets a day at Keep Haverhill Recycling. But I don't know.
I believe it will, but also you can drop those off at Sainsbury's, Tesco's, and those sort of places. But I'm pretty sure they will. Dave, do you remember? He usually knows about his crisp packets. He's got plenty of them.
No, I can't. I was just going to have a look up actually on. I'll have a look and I'll get back to you.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, crisp packets were one of the ones, weren't they? But I thought I'd seen that they are going to be able to take them, but if not, there are, other places like Sainsbury's and Tesco's. And once we know, got all this information collated together, we could perhaps do a little link on the web page, I think, Haverhill Town Council webpage, or on the Facebook page as well, linking to the new better recycling, all the new bins and what goes in what, and then the extra bits that we know about, that we can help people with. I think that would be the best idea. If anyone's got any thoughts on that, uh, everyone okay with that? Yeah. So I think that's what we'll do. Um, who does the website? Who manages the website? Do we know? Vicky or Colin, do you know? Who does all the web pages and puts them on and all that?
Well, for the town council,
Yeah.
Joe Dexter.
Oh, Joe Dexter. Okay. So I can get in touch with Joe with some ideas about what we can put on there. Once we've collated all the information together. That's good. Thank you. Okay, so I think over to you, Laura and Colin, about the Chalkston Open Place.
Laura, do you want me to start just with an update? Okay, so I think Gary can confirm that in the next day or so, the community wardens are going to go to the Chalkston open space and plant the willow bits that we've been given, get those whips in the ground to grow. They're going to be planted near the community orchard. And I've asked that the wardens just check the trees, particularly the silver birch that was planted there, to whether they're all in good condition. So they're close enough that we can water them through the summer. We've had a tow ball fitted to the van, and I'm looking at what we can do as far as either borrowing the water bowser from West Suffolk or obtaining our own, so that we can keep everything watered well there, in case it's another hot summer. So that's what we've got planned for that area at the moment.
That's been delivered tomorrow. The team are dealing with that tomorrow.
This tomorrow. Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So Laura, you got something to add to
that? So Gary, are you planting them tomorrow?
I'm not physically planting them myself, but Barry and Valdez are.
Tomorrow, okay. If any of you have any old bananas that you don't want, apparently, if you plant bananas with willow, either stick them in it or just in the ground near them, because of all the potassium and everything in the bananas, it makes it grow really super well and gives it everything it needs. So if you've got any bananas that are a bit too ripe for you, or if Barry does, please take them and shove them in the ground when you plant the willow. That was a tip from a gardener I got.
Okay, I don't eat bananas.
Okay.
I'll pass that on to Barry.
If anyone here has any, drop them off at the Arts Centre tomorrow morning, please.
Gary, you might have a conversation with Free Food for Haverhill. They might have some that are overripe that they need to get rid of, and they're just down the road from the zone, so that's a possibility.
Cool, I'll pass that on, and they can probably pass by there when they're going back to the zone. I'll pick some up.
That sounds a great idea. I've seen that actually on you see YouTube clips and things like that, and sort of garden hacks and things where they tell you this. Anyway, so is that all we need to know on that one?
That's the plan at the moment. They've got quite a lot on. We have had a discussion about revisiting the hedgerow, which suffered terribly in the last year's drought. Some of the hedging survived. It seemed to be the dog rose seemed to survive particularly, but we need to get in and clear the area. We have a quote for renting a um, a kind of all-terrain lawnmower, which well, if it can do what it says it can do, it'll be very impressive. I personally won't be on top of it whilst it tries to do it, but the wardens are going to have a go at trying to cut the grass a bit more often to try and get the access improved around there, and get rid of some of the anthills, etc., that are there in the process. I don't know whether, Gary, you want to add anything else to that?
No, we'll look to do that as soon as we can. It is it'll be a wild ride across there with that particular vehicle. So we'll try it out, see how it goes, and if it works, we'll put in place a proper plan for doing everything that we need to do with this particular machine.
Okay. Excuse me. Thank you for that. Okay, so we're going to excuse me, item 6, public forum for the public to speak on matters within the remit of the committee. So I think we've got Angela with us. Angela Wilson, did you want to say something at this point, Angela? Or were you
She's our tree warden.
Yeah, or are we going to come in on another topic?
Well, there's a bit on bee-friendly Haverhill, which may well involve the tree wardens.
Okay, that's fine. Thanks for that. Okay, so in that case, we'll go on to.
Sorry, Angela is online. Is there if you want.
Hi, Angela. Angela, did you want to mention anything at this point, or you?
Hello there. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yes, can do.
You can. Okay, guys. I don't know whether I've got a good connection here. It seems to be cutting in and out. Yeah, I just wanted to represent the tree wardens this evening, and say, you know, still here. And if there's anything we can help with going forward. And I had a email conversation with Colin about some sites in Haverhill. So I didn't know what's happening with those. There was a couple of sites Colin mentioned to me that you were thinking of planting trees in, but I did advise that it's not a very good time to be planting now because we're going into the drier season. So, but I heard earlier that you've got a watering system planned, so maybe that would be that would work well. But you know, it is important to think about the time of year when you're planting to have a success.
So, do we know what time of year is best for planting trees?
Yes, from November to February, really.
Autumn, winter.
Yeah. Push it into March maybe, but it does really depend on the weather. They do advise the earlier the better. So sort of October, November, December, the best months. Yeah, because the ground is wet, so that the trees have a better start. Yeah.
Okay. That's good. So, but you're in contact with Colin about those and the sites that we're looking at the moment.
Yes, but I haven't heard anything recently, so I just wondered, you know, is there an update on that?
Yeah, I took on board what you said, Angela, about the time of year, and it's always the thing. My planning always seems to not quite coincide with the right time of year. So there's two areas we've been asked and funded to plant some trees. One is an area of land between the Glebe and Chapel Drive, where there's only room for about 2 or 3 trees there. There's a footpath that runs parallel to Chapel Drive. I think Dean's Close or something like that, and it's got a row of cherry trees that were obviously some sort of avenue of trees that stop, and then there's a bit of a space. So and it's to the south of some houses. So in terms of planting a tree, I've gone back to the sponsors to say we can't really plant something that's going to grow massive, because the householders directly to the south of the tree are not going to appreciate us putting their garden into shade. So cherry tree seems to make sense, and they accepted that. The other site was where was the other site? Oh, on Helian's Park Avenue, just at the very top of Quakers Lane. there is a triangle of land that isn't really anybody's particularly. West Suffolk are supposed to look after it, and West Suffolk have funded us again to plant a tree on that. But there's really only room for one tree, and we'd have to choose it carefully. In terms of bee-friendly Haverhill, I was wondering, and what I've said to the sponsors is, you're really going to get just one tree on there, and it's not going to make any difference as far as biodiversity is concerned, just planting one tree. So whether or not they would be interested in us using that area to plant something that would actually be good for pollinators, etc. And I wondered whether, in addition to planting trees, whether you thought the tree wardens would be up for developing a project around there to do more than just plant one tree, but to actually do a bit more, because the funding we've got, I think, was given on the assumption that we could plant several trees, but in reality plant one and then use the rest of the funds for doing some other stuff around there that would promote biodiversity. And the sponsor's fine by that.
Yeah, that sounds good. I don't know if you've heard recently that the RSPB advice on birds has changed, on feeding birds, and they're suggesting now to reduce the amount of food that you not feed them during the summer months, but to think about planting plants that will feed them. So that's certainly something we could look into for that site. That would be good. And that reminds me of the along the wreck we had an area of wildflowers right along the edge where we had that mound, if you remember. And it seems to have been mown recently.
The bunding.
Yeah, I wondered why it had been mown down.
Was that the responsibility of the football club or the sorry, did you say the New Croft? Or
that's Damien Parker and his
right?
No, the recreation ground.
Oh, the recreation ground. Sorry.
So the spoil from digging out for the splash pad was used to create a bund along a recreation road to stop people parking on the verge, and it was planted with wildflower seeds by West Suffolk.
Yeah, and
it looked great. I think the first year it looked absolutely brilliant. And I don't know what's happened within West Suffolk Parks Department, but there's some miscommunication going on if they've mowed it yet again, because it all got hacked down at the wrong time of year. There should be an autumn cut, but then after that, unless this seems a bit late already, but unless this is a very early spring cut and then going to let it go the whole summer.
Oh, yeah.
But I wouldn't expect to see that mowed between now and September.
Okay. So we can check the list of works that they do, because they send a list, don't they, of the what they're going to mow and when.
Well, that's probably too reactive. We probably need to get in there first,
and
check with either it's Damien or it's Simon Collins.
Yeah, okay, Damien or Simon Collins. I can get in touch with them. Simon Collins, Damien, thank you. I'll get in touch with them and see what's going on.
Okay, thanks a lot. I meant it was mown when it was in flower. It hasn't been mown recently.
Okay.
But yeah, like you said, it's not a good time to mow them when they're in flower. They need to be left so they can set seed.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay then.
Thank you.
So
sorry, Chair, just to finish off of that, Angela, would you like to meet me on site at Helians Park Avenue if we arrange that and discuss the art of the possible down there?
Yeah, sure, no problem. If you send me some possible dates.
Brilliant.
Great, thank you.
I'll be in contact. Thank you.
Okay.
So was that the bit you were going to talk about with the bee-friendly town status, or We could talk a little bit more about
That was only one part of it, because
Yeah,
there's
all
the
right.
rest of things to consider.
Yeah. So what's the other bits and pieces we need to talk about under that?
Well, I think generally we can point to a lot of the things that have happened, but there is more that we could be doing. I don't know what the schools are doing. Clement School was involved before, and I don't know whether anything else is planned. So it might be an idea to send something out to the schools to find out if they've got anything in mind. I wondered whether or not that's the sort of thing we might be able to have Haverhill in Bloom take a little bit of a lead in terms of, because it does come back down to exactly what Angela said about planting for wildlife, and to whether or not we could encourage more schools to be involved. And I think, we did talk about the bus station in the absence of a railway station having wildflower planting. We did ask Damien about creating bug hotels and planting along the bus station, but I don't know what happened to that. Obviously, it's very difficult to maintain contact sometimes with that department. So whether or not we can try again to get something set up, but again, it's we're right smack on the planting time. If anything, a little bit past the planting time for wildflowers for spring, and the next window is autumn again.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I can send an email to Damien Parker and see if he'll get in touch, or trace it up with a phone call if he doesn't get back to me, because I think he's notorious for not getting back to us. So yeah, I'll try and get hold of him. And we can talk about that. So it's around the bus station. And also, did you say you want to see if we can get Haverhill in Bloom to lead on contacting the schools about? Was that what you were saying? Sorry, missed that bit.
Yes, Haverhill in Bloom would be a good vehicle for engaging with schools.
Okay. Would you be able to do that and contact them?
Now we can piggyback off of the science festival where we're working with all the schools.
Oh, okay.
So we can piggyback off that with Haverhill in Bloom and arrange something to go out to them. I can work with Joe Dexter to get something out. He's doing the publicity for Haverhill in Bloom.
Okay. Oh, that'd be good. Yeah, if you could do that, that'd be great. Has anyone got any other ideas or questions about that? No? Okay. So it's just a couple of action points then from that. I was going to talk to Damien Parker about the bus station and the recreation ground. And you, Colin, are going to perhaps pursue that through the science festival with the schools and Haverhill in Bloom. Yeah.
Yes. And meet with Angela.
Yeah, lovely. Okay, thank you. Right, so the next bit on the agenda was Methodist Church.
Sorry, Ted, can I just ask about the beeping? Did we ever pursue the thing about having planting on top of the bus shelters? Is that what you were talking about, or is that something completely different? No, that was something we was discussed previously about making the bus shelters more green, as it were. Was that a possibility, or has that been discounted?
I've not heard anything. Have you, Colin?
The bus station. Yeah, the bus station work was not about putting grass on the bus shelter roofs. I can't remember where the discussion with that went. I'd have to dig through my emails. I know that I talked to Simon Barnett about that, and the question of whether or not it was easy to convert any bus shelter with a flat roof to putting planting on top of it, to whether it would either snap the top off, fall through the glass, slide off the back, or work perfectly well. And whether we needed to worry about any guttering, etc., so that the any runoff in the rain, any kind of how you held the earth in place. So I can't recall the outcome of that discussion, whether Simon said that you could convert things or whether or not it was effectively a new bus shelter.
Okay. Yeah, I just wondered. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Something we could mention to when I talk to Damien, we could mention that if it's something that is doable, perhaps. Okay. So the Methodist Church thing, Councillor Cox isn't here. Does anyone know if we've got any report on that or nothing? Okay, so that we'll leave that over to the next meeting when Councillor Cox can be here. Excuse me. So item 9, energy efficiency. So we start off with the Arts Centre and then go on to Clements Community Centre. So I'm assuming that's your bit, Gary.
Yeah, unless Colin has, I haven't got anything specifically on the Arts Centre. But I have a little bit of news on the Clements Centre. We've done a piece of work to put together an RFQ, a request for quotation for the variable refrigerant flow system that we chose to go forward with the heating at the Clements. So put together a pack including the RFQ. That has now gone to 10 agencies, predominantly East Anglian based agencies. And I'm hoping to be in discussions and meeting quite a few of them the next couple of weeks. We've set an end date for quotations to be back as the 1st of June, which is 7 days before the next energy meeting, which gives us a little bit of time to see where we're at with them. So I'm expecting literally the next week or so to be spending a portion of my time up at the Clements meeting these agencies with a view to them to do their recce and send through their particular quotations for this system. If anybody drops out, I'll try and get another one, but I'm hoping at least we'll get 6, 7, 8 quotes through. I have spoken to I spoke physically to about 7 of them the last few days, and they seem quite interested. So we'll see how this particular piece of work pans out. So hoping by the end of the summer, if such a timescale is feasible, to have all this action done in place. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that, Gary, for that update. Is there anything about the Arts Centre, Colin? Do you need anything else? Any update on that?
No, there wasn't any update on that.
No. Okay. Fair enough. But it sounds like things are moving slowly but surely. So that's good. Okay, so items for the next meeting. We've got a fair bit to carry on with at the moment, but is there anything else you want to bring up for the next meeting to discuss? Anybody? No? Okay. In that case, date of the next meeting is Monday, the 8th of June. So hopefully we'll know a little bit more about these quotes that Gary was saying, and I'll try and get some of those questions answered for next time. About recycling and also some updates from Damien Parker. Okay, and that's it then. So thank you very much for your attendance. The meeting is ending at 7:53.